Okay. I don't even know how it starts. I'm rusty.
Hi, welcome to the Marketing Podcast. I'm Brendan Quigley.
And I'm Heather Watson.
Totally clipped the audio there, like it went into the red.
Oh, yeah?
Whatever. It's good.
We're just going to definitely now.
Yeah. Maybe I'll do it again.
Then we go from nobody can hear you to...
Basically, it's because I can't yell into it. Okay. Hi, welcome. I did it again. Hi. That last one. Hi, welcome to the Marketing Podcast. I'm Brendan Quigley.
And I'm Heather Watson.
So today in the studio, we have a selfie stick
Dun,
in all its glory, but it's like a Bluetooth selfie stick.
Aren't they all?
No.
Oh.
Some of them have like a little lever that touches the screen.
Oh my goodness, I didn't know this.
Which is like low tech, right?
Yeah.
But no, this Bluetooth one needs to charge. So we're taking no pictures right now. It's on the floor charging. We are charging a stick.
And when my phone is hooked up to it, it looks maybe like a 7-iron.
Yeah, like someone please make a golf game that uses a selfie stick and you have to like a putting game. How amazing would that be?
It would be.
Where they put, like you're not like swinging your phone all around like a golf club, but like you would just like little putt, makes a little noise. And then you could use the selfie stick button for
the release.
Like input. Oh my goodness.
And then you could stick a GoPro on it.
Yeah.
And you can analyze the curvature of your swing to determine if you have a slice. That would be a better use for a selfie stick
I was going to say,
selfies.
You realize that we're coming up with all the other uses that you could possibly use a selfie stick for, except take pictures of yourself.
Yeah, I actually felt like I hit a new low when I bought a selfie stick. I told myself I never wanted to be that
business expense
person. My arms are just shorter than I want them to be sometimes.
There you go.
And I'm embarrassed to say it. I will never use it in public, though. Like public, when there's people around. I was at an event somewhere recently and somebody was using it, like, taking photos, but not as a selfie. They were using it to get like a higher vantage point.
Oh, right.
And other angles.
Artistic
stick, which I thought was interesting.
Yeah.
Still weird. So I may have offended many people who enjoy selfie sticks. I'm not one of them.
Me neither.
Awesome. Speaking of selfie sticks, this is kind of funny, right? Because this is our mobile episode. We've got everything on our agenda today is all about mobile phones and mobile devices.
And there notably no article about selfie sticks.
No, so we had to obviously talk about them.
Yeah.
We have some new stats on app usage. This is pretty cool, actually. A study that was done by a company called App Annie has released a study. The top 20% of people who use apps for the longest periods spend more than 4 hours a day with mobile apps. So what we're seeing here overall is app usage is doubling over the past 2 years as mobile web is fading. Talk about that technology just for a second, Brendan, because I know people think, well,
right.
phone, app, what's the difference?
Yeah, so for a long time, it was if you didn't have a mobile website that worked really well on a mobile device, that was your problem. You needed to get a mobile website. And nowadays, we probably hear more mobile responsive. So instead of having a separate site built for mobile devices, we have a website that can dynamically shift its content to fit the smaller screen.
Right. And another kind of jargony term that people will use is mobile first.
Exactly,
it's still a website, but it really is built for a mobile first kind of experience.
And I think the first mobile sites that were being built, they were a little easier to build for because we didn't have as many devices. So you knew the screen resolution of the devices that we're visiting. Now, literally every shape and size of device is viewing your website. And so I feel like that's the reason why there's been a shift to a mobile responsive website. But what this article is saying is people are even ditching the mobile responsive websites in favor of the apps. For example, Papa John's.
Papa John's.
I use their app. I don't use their website.
Right. And you could do everything you wanted on their website because you do it from your computer.
Exactly.
It functions in the exact same way. But when you're using your mobile phone, you prefer instead of opening up your mobile browser, be it Chrome or Safari or Firefox, you're preferring to download the app and have the app on your phone.
And their checkout experience on their website is arguably just as good. Like they have a mobile responsive website that displays everything accurately, fits on my screen. It does the checkout process.
Right.
I don't know.
Right.
I like the app.
Well, and it's interesting because I also look at, from a marketing perspective, for a business, we'll use Papa John's as the example, to have real estate on your mobile desktop when you have your mobile phone in your hand. It may be tucked away in a folder somewhere, but every single time you want to order pizza, or you even want to find your Facebook app or email app, you are effectively thumbing over that Papa John's logo. And that's more brand awareness. It's really kind of deepening the knowledge of that brand in you.
Yep. I'll be honest. It's on my home screen.
Wow. That much pizza. That's all I'm pulling from that.
What's on your home screen? Papa John's? No?
Nothing. Absolutely nothing is on mine. I hide everything away. I don't want to see that mess. So it's kind of interesting because native mobile apps, this is what the App Annie study is reporting, which we'll put on the show notes on our website at themarketingpodcast.ca. Native mobile apps accounted for 88% of the time and 93% of sessions on Android phones worldwide, the remainder being spent in mobile browsers. The preference for apps was seen among all age groups, not just millennials and teens, which is really, like, put that rumor to shame.
I guess, I'm not surprised, but here it is now in the study.
Yeah.
Yep.
So inevitably, marketers are accordingly boosting their investment in apps, with 63% of respondents saying they expect their app marketing budgets to increase. Retail apps are growing sales through those mobile channels, with mobile app users converting to paying customers at 3 times the rate of other mobile users. So let's back that up a second. 3 times higher conversion rate if they're buying from the mobile app versus your mobile browser.
Interesting.
Right? What's the difference? Cleaner, better, more intuitive? I mean, I think in an app it is. People feel like they're engaging with it easier. It doesn't feel as clunky.
There would be less friction. Like, that's one of the reasons I do use the Papa John's app, is I'm always signed in.
Right.
So they know my address. They know my last order. It's quick to do it. And then I was going to mention the other thing, too, is reward points. And I'll continue to use Papa John's as an example. They have, like, their pizza reward points. So we've ordered tons of pizza without ever getting reward points. But I know if I do it through the app, I will get the points.
Right, right.
And so, yeah, I would say it does convert. Like, I'm just thinking of my own pizza consumption.
Yeah.
As in, it does. It makes it so much easier.
Are you eating 3 times more pizza? Is that what it is?
Yeah, 3 times
Thanks
more
to the
pizza.
app. So really what it comes down to is a well-designed app can work faster, be more stable than a mobile website, which is dependent on continual cellular connection. Whereas if you have the app, there's a certain amount of that content that's cached into your phone, right? So you have that ability to be able to just pop it open. Like you say, it remembers your password, your login, your address, your phone number, all that information that may be necessary for you to become a customer once you set it up. And let's not forget that one extra step. When you open up your browser and you say want to order pizza from Papa John's, and you're doing it through your browser, you've got to go into that bar, into the, either it's bookmarked, great, you've still got to tap to get from the, open up launch your bookmarks to hit that one spot, or you're opening up to search Papa John's and then tap the, the search results, the ad that shows up in your number one search results, and then you're ordering, right? Whereas when you open the app, it's either pull down to search the app in your phone or swipe because you know exactly where it is and you're there. So it's a little bit more smooth and fast to be able to access the information. So it's an interesting study. I mean, for a business, I think it's important to talk about the price of apps aren't as expensive as what people once thought they were. They've come down exponentially. At Acorn 30, we build mobile apps, and we've done a few. They're less than $5,000, less than $3,000. Super affordable. Just depends on what kind of functionality that you want within your app.
Yeah, and like all the mobile or all the operating system providers like have a toolkit that let you access all the components and all the functionality that's there. So it's not like you're rebuilding everything from scratch. It's more like putting things together to make them work.
Yeah. And you can manage your app, just like your website. Log into kind of the back end. You can look at traffic. You can, of course, take advantage of push notifications. Don't over take advantage of those push notifications because people will start deleting your app.
Yep.
But take advantage of those push notifications to let them know of any pertinent information and find out really who is downloading your app and using your app, how long they're staying on screens.
And you can totally do like way more creative things in an app than you can in the web browser.
Oh, certainly.
You know what I mean? Like the sky's the limit when it comes to like the functionality that you can build in. Like
I mean, AR is going to take that to the next level.
Yeah, that's true.
Now that's going to be the next level of pricing for mobile apps because it's using that new technology, and also not everybody is going to have that technology in their hands right away since the phone has just come out. But certainly as we continue to go on, like that's just one small example of using an app in a way that your customers couldn't do through their desktop. So. So I think obviously it's a trend. It's one, we can call it and say that it's been happening for a while, and it will probably continue to go on for some time more.
Yeah, at first when I saw the article title, I was like, mobile app usage doubles in 2 years? Well, of course.
Of course. Of course. Plus, everybody has twice as many mobile devices.
Yes.
Right? So I'm sure that's playing into it a little bit. If I download it on my iPhone, it's also showing up on my iPad
Do you put different apps on your iPhone that you do on your iPad? Me too, yeah. Totally different. Yeah.
Different purposes, different use for everything. I mean, there are some certainly that are on both. I wouldn't say that they're all like that, but there are other ones that are only on my iPad and only on my iPhone. Yeah. Okay, moving on. Amazon
mobile app
gets a new AR shopping feature. So CNET is reporting that Amazon's mobile app has now launched that whole AR view with particular products on the iPhone 6s and versions later. So it doesn't even have to be on the iPhone 10. If you haven't spent the $1,300 for a new iPhone 10, don't worry about it. If you have the 6S, you can still use AR View, providing that you've upgraded to iOS 11, which maybe you haven't because of a whole host of other issues. But if you've been bold enough to do it, why not enjoy the fruits of that? So this is pretty cool, and there's a video that shows how it works that Amazon has launched with it. And basically, you can choose select items, and very similar to the Pokemon Go experience, overlay, and I think it's a vase or vase in the example in the commercial for it, where somebody chooses a vase or a Crockpot even, and they set it on their countertop and see how it fits with their kitchen and their decor and what have you. What do you think about that?
Can I do it to all of the products on Amazon?
Not yet. Not yet.
Like there has to be a 3D model of these things. I'm thinking of the technology on the back end. There has to be like a 3D model of said product scaled right so that it shows up.
Well, and it's funny you say that because when you watch the video that promos it, the items don't look that great. Like they're almost, I can't remember what that term is, where you like, it'll come to me. But like the edges don't look very smooth on them. They look very flat in terms of how they're placed, almost cartoony. So it's nice, but it's not great.
And so, like, IKEA's been doing this with furniture for a long time. Furniture makes a lot of sense. You want to know if it fits. You want to know if it matches. You want to know if... But, I mean, I saw in the video, like, a Crockpot. And, I mean, like, I care about all of my appliances in my kitchen matching, of course, but... I'm trying to figure out the use case for like 80% of the non-furniture stuff that's on Amazon. Can you get furniture on Amazon? Probably.
Sure, yeah. I mean, I think, the Crockpot is a really good example because that one stood out for me as well because the reality is, for the most part, all Crockpots are the same size. So you're not doing it for fit.
Right.
You're doing it to see if it fits within the decor. And I don't care what my Crockpot looks like.
I hide my Crockpot.
My Crockpot goes under the counter most of the time when it's not in use. And if it's matchy or not, it doesn't matter to me. And it's a little peculiar. That one's peculiar. What matters to me when I'm buying a Crockpot is that it has the features that I want. I don't care about the color or the style.
Yeah.
Because they're all the same size.
I feel like this is a case of like a tech company, because Amazon's a tech company, with the money and the ability said, okay, how can we use AR? This is how we could use AR. And so they implemented it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's not a bad use of it, but it's not particularly filling a niche or a problem. Like it's not solving anybody's, I guess, the furniture, if you know what I mean? Like if the models of the furniture exist.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, just because you can do it doesn't necessarily mean you should. However, this could be kind of like thinking about AR and the role that it plays in consumers' lives.
Yep.
This could be, that just initial little blip to get people using it,
yep.
to play with it, to understand it, right? I remember hearing a great story about the solitaire game for Windows that came out back in the 90s that everybody played, was really to teach people mouse controls. And they turned it into a game.
Boy, did we learn mouse control.
because people weren't used to interacting with a computer in that way, right? So this could be the first step of many to come from Amazon, and maybe they'll get much better at the products. And I also wonder if I'm a seller on Amazon, how do I get to be one of those featured products in Amazon's catalog?
Exactly, yeah.
What's the buy-in to do that, and the conversion rate on that, and what items would work better?
Yeah.
We've already discussed a Crockpot. Yeah, not so much. A coffee table.
I wonder if they can do clothes. Because, like, you remember the iPhone X 10, sorry.
10, thank
the
you.
iPhone 10, where they had the Snapchat filters that could wrap around your head?
Mm-hmm,
Like, I wonder if they could, like, drape clothes on people. Suddenly that has a huge use case.
Yeah.
And I don't see why not.
Potentially. I know Amazon's rules for selling clothes online are tricky for most merchants who are trying to do that in terms of having like their SKUs and everything right. Like it couldn't just be me cleaning out my closet and throwing clothes on there. Right,
of course, yeah.
But certainly those retailers that could.
Shoes. Bags. Like you could like try it on before you have someone take a picture of you.
Yeah. I see it more like bedding and decor
Right.
and things like that, because you can see, like I can look down and look at my feet and know what a pair of shoes is going to look like without having to see a pretend version of them on my feet.
Yeah.
I think.
Makeup.
I
don't know. There's options.
Speaking of Snapchat, they have now launched pixel tracking, which is all kinds of fun.
Woo!
So Adweek is reporting that Snapchat is finally opening up pixel tracking for marketers to measure cross-platform stats. So the tool will tie together website traffic and ad exposure. Now, again, I'm going to throw it over to you, Brendan, for a second. What is a pixel, please?
Well, on your screen, there are tiny little lights. No. That's
It's a phone, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a phone. That's right.
The pixel is a phone?
No, so the pixel is basically referred to as, like, it's a bit of code that sits on your website that tracks people. That's the
So
crux.
pre-Facebook, because I really think Facebook is the one that started coining the term pixel around these things. Pre-Facebook, we would have called them cookies.
Cookies kind of do that, but cookies don't send the data back.
Right.
Cookies store it on your computer. So it's just like Google Analytics or the Facebook Pixel, now the Snapchat Pixel. I'm sure other metric software does the same thing. If you're using like Kissmetrics, or there's a handful of other providers that do Google Analytics style analyzing. But basically, you put a little bit of code on your website, and the reason the pixel came about is because it literally used to show up as an invisible pixel at the bottom part of your screen. That's why they said pixel.
See, we're learning stuff here today,
There
folks.
you go. And so so the Facebook pixel is very, very powerful. It can measure and track all sorts of things. The Snapchat pixel is going to be just for tracking right now, versus the Facebook pixel, which also lets you retarget. So we're not going to get retargeting in Snapchat just yet, but they do say that it's coming up. But with the Facebook pixel, you are actually able to make a list of people who have visited your site and then target them through Facebook ads, which is super powerful, super creepy. But there's some things that are put in place to prevent that from being too creepy.
So it's funny that you use the word creepy when you're talking about this. And any time I hear somebody talking about, they searched mason jars on the internet, and all of a sudden they're seeing mason jar ads, and it creeps them out. They always use that word.
Yeah.
But yet nobody, like, we say it creeps us out, but nobody's really does much about it other than just saying it's creepy. And they don't talk about, like, how do you protect yourself from that, or what can you do, or how do you block that, or any of that. It's just like, oh, it's a little creepy. Even this Adweek piece says Evan Spiegel, who's the CEO, calls those ads creepy. Like, actually those words.
Yeah.
And it's just funny how our vernacular is around that we all recognize it's creepy, but nobody really cares or does anything. It's like we'll become desensitized to it soon, right?
It's
I think
true.
that's what it'll be.
I think too with the Pixel with Snapchat, it's filling an important piece, like a missing piece for Snapchat, and that is measuring the ROI. More than just click-throughs, it's measuring the click-through that makes a conversion. So it's kind of like filling out that piece. Like before, like you could throw money at Snapchat, you could get clicks, and you're like, okay, great, we had 1,000 people visit our site from our Snapchat ad, but you weren't sure what happened to them, if it converted, all that kind of stuff. And so the pixel will be the missing piece in terms of start to finish Snapchat ROI.
Right.
And then down the road, you'll be able to capture that group of people and retarget them in Snapchat, which will be super valuable. That's where we get the relevant ads. That's when you search mason jars and you see mason jars everywhere for a week.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I mean, having that data, I think, is very interesting because back, when we talk about traditional advertising, it's like, why would you possibly invest money in buying newsprint or radio or television? Because you have no idea who is seeing that, when they're seeing it, if they're even, registering with it, and there's no actual call to action or follow-up. But believe it or not, that stuff really happened. People spent real money without having that data. Now we have that data available to us, and it's so much more affordable than traditional forms of advertising because you're able to turn it around quickly and get that engagement from people, right? And get those eyeballs. And then from that, you can get better at placing those ads because you're finding out what's working and what's not working, as opposed to, in a newspaper saying, bring in this coupon or mention this when you come in.
Yeah.
And you never really know where it's going, right?
I would encourage anyone who's got a website to make sure they have Google Analytics installed. It's free. It's really easy to do, especially if you're using a CMS like WordPress. There's plugins that will let you implement it across your website really, really easy. Even if your website is hand-coded, it's a matter of copy-pasting the code into each page. And that'll give you access to at least the data to see how many people are coming to your site, where they're coming to your site from, what browser they're using. There's a lot of data that you can kind of dig into. And at least knowing that people are using your site and which pages they're using will give you a little bit of an idea of what they're looking at, what they need, what they want, where your community's coming from, and it's free to do.
Right, and it's all good metrics to have that you can analyze and understand. I just can circle back to Snapchat for a second. Two interesting points, because I think a lot of people who are in business, who are marketers, to a degree dismiss Snapchat because it's just for the kids, right? So very recently, TechCrunch reported as well that Snapchat has fallen out of the iOS top 10 for the first time this year. So we're in the 11th month, and, boom, all of a sudden Snapchat's fallen out. So people are going to quickly jump on that and say, oh, I told you it was only a short-term thing, and people aren't going to go there. But to counter that, I also want to share with you an interview I heard recently, and I can't even remember the source, but it was from somebody who runs specifically the Snapchat marketing and editorial content for The Economist. Now, The Economist is a magazine that publishes weekly, I believe, and mostly, you think, who's reading The Economist? It's going to be, business people of an age that are getting the magazine paper copy kind of in their hand. They have amazing traction on Snapchat because they're taking relevant things, and they've been working it really, really hard for the past year, and making it newsy enough that millennial group that are using Snapchat right now are engaging with that brand in ways that they've never seen before. So they've actually tapped into an entirely new audience, not by dismissing that audience, but by engaging them where they are, where they're hanging out in a language that they enjoy. And they're telling great stories. And they put so much effort behind it. When I heard the interview, and I'm thinking, it disappears 24 hours later.
Right.
But they're like, oh, we just don't think about that because that's who we're dealing with. That's where we are. And
I have to say, I don't mind the format of the snaps, especially the snap stories that you watch. I just find that the content that I see when I go in I'm never interested in. I might go try to find The Economist.
Find The Economist.
Yeah.
I'll also put a link to that interview. I wish I could source it right now. I want to say it was with Tech News Weekly with the Twit Network that I'd heard the interview. But I'll find that again and reference it in the show notes as well.
And just looking at those snap stories too that you can watch. It's like the daily crunch. It gives it to you really quickly. The information's short and sweet, and then you're on with your day. So I don't know, those snap stories seem to be in line with the constant, ever busy
glimpses, right?
Yeah.
You're getting your news in little pieces now. Yep, absolutely. Finally, today I want to talk to you about Home Depot, which I have spent far too many hours at. Home Depot has now, another study, topped the major retailers in mobile web usability. And I just want to get the article up here. So Forrester is a web market research company, and they have come out above many, many other big retailers for having the best website for mobile use. So this is kind of not the mobile app. This is the going into Safari or going into Chrome, and bringing up the HomeDepot.ca or HomeDepot.com website. So some interesting points out of the study, and what I want you to think about, Brendan, when I run this down is like these are things that everybody should be incorporating into their websites, because if they've kind of hit there, this is kind of where I'm going with this. So there were 12 leading retailers with mobile-friendly content videos where appropriate, a single checkout page. So easy to find, live chat and support. So people are going to the web to get help. Functionality, their checkout, payment capability, and their content for Costco was all seen as needing work. So those are things that people are obviously looking for when they're on mobile web, right? Mm-hmm. Functionality, of course, and that checkout and payment capability. As soon as I have to enter in a credit card or something through my mobile browser, that's where I'm like, I'm tapping out.
Yeah, right.
I am like, this has become too much work, right? Wayfair was another one that was mentioned. Strong functionality, good enough usability.
Good enough.
Good enough.
Define, please.
Yeah. Easy to navigate and includes detailed product information and suggestions for coordinating items. Best Buy has the best omni-channel shopping features, but poor usability. So if you're familiar with any of these sites, some of this may ring true to you. The research found that the median for mobile cart abandonment is 66%. Suggesting that the checkout process in general is failing customer expectations.
Well, is it? Or am I just looking it up on my phone and then deciding to go buy that later on my computer?
But you've got to put it in your cart first. Oh.
You know what I mean?
But then that's not cart abandonment. You've converted.
No, but the cookie would say that this person didn't and this person did, but really I'm the same person. I wonder. I'm just throwing that out there.
Yeah.
If you're signed in, it's totally different.
If it's in your cart, it's in your cart.
Yeah.
Retailers should offer clear processes, easy online forms, and digital wallets. That's my pain point right there. The second I have to go find my wallet, my physical wallet, to pull out a credit card, to type in that credit card number in that tiny little box.
Which is why Amazon, right?
Yeah. Buy now. Boom. Yep. And customer support is important because customers naturally want to be able to resolve an issue or get questions answered quickly, which would potentially be good for a bot, but the reality is it's got to be there to begin with. Yeah,
and if it's a phone, remember they're looking at your website with their phone for a majority of the time. Make that button clickable.
Yeah. No, that's a good point too. Yeah. Now, Forrester, the people who did the study, again, also emphasized the importance of omnichannel integration, meaning that mobile sites bridge seamlessly to both mobile and brick-and-mortar shopping experiences. As well, they noted mobile phones influenced more than $1 trillion in U.S. offline retail store sales in 2016.
There you go. Check it out online and then walk in and buy it.
Yep.
Yeah.
And 65% of U.S. adult smartphone owners researched products on their smartphones in the past 3 months.
Yeah. I want to go back to the
previous
point.
Offline.
No, the one before that there where it was like the website has to match the brick and mortar experience. Yeah. I literally today walked into Staples looking for something I found online. I had missed the delivery only sub-bullet.
Oh.
And they didn't have it.
Of course.
And I said, well, it's on your website. And they said, oh, yeah, we don't, that's delivery only.
It's not a stock item. It's in our warehouse
And the guy literally said, like, sometimes what we do when people ask for those is we'll order 2 or 3 and then just keep them in the store in case.
In case people like you don't.
Exactly. And I was like, and I went back and I saw it on the website and it did say for delivery only. But you'd think that it would be like, let me know, like inform me before I go to I was in their store.
Yeah.
Whew. Do you know who I think I am? Basically.
Here we are, Staples, in your face. By the way, we're looking for show sponsors at this point in time. It may not be Staples anytime soon.
Yeah.
Or if it is, please don't listen to this episode.
The please don't listen Staples episode.
Yeah. So speaking of, episode 10 is in the books. We're done. Are you done?
Yeah. I'm going to check to see if the selfie stick is charged.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, because we've got lots of selfies to take because we're that self-absorbed. No?
Just be like a drone following me.
I would
from
rather
behind.
that. Like
A drone.
I would feel like that's like the paparazzi is following me.
I think the drone cameras exist. I think you can get those.
Just to follow me around.
It like connects to your phone with Bluetooth and then it like hovers near you.
Yeah.
I'm
Don't
gonna
mind
look
me.
it up.
Don't mind me and my drone just walking into stores.
This is a totally different story, but I heard of a father who built a drone to follow his kid to the bus stop down the road and then come back.
Wow.
So he didn't have to walk his kid. Like there's so many levels here, but it's so hard to get into.
Wow.
Built a drone to follow his kid to the bus.
Wow.
Yeah.
Handy. Well,
I think so.
Let's track that guy down so he can build me a drone to take my picture all the time.
There you go.
That's not vain at all. So, for the Marketing Podcast, I'm Heather Watson.
And I'm Brendan Quigley.
Thanks for listening.